Troy, after years of data collection, I have finally refined the list and found the top 10 worst episodes of Doctor Who of all time, and there is no disputing this list. It's definitely not just from people bombing the IMDB with bad reviews.
If I see Love and Monsters on this list, I am leaving this room and this becomes a solo podcast.
Well, guys, I guess you're gonna have to find out if Love and Monsters makes it into the top 10.
I guess we will. Roll the intro!
Hey guys, and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. My name is Crispy, his name is Troy, and we're the hotline that accepts your calls from anywhere in time and space. And today we're talking about stinky poo-poo episodes of Doctor Who.
Why am I suddenly back in a teaching placement showing 10-year-olds how to deal with square roots? What's happening here?
Come on guys, maths is simple. The top episodes of Doctor Who go at the top, and the worst ones go at the bottom.
Are you okay, sir?
No.
Do you want a hug?
Yeah.
Come here, man. Come here. Bring it in.
I'm sorry, man. I just really don't like talking about the bad episodes of Doctor Who.
No, neither do I. Then why did you suggest this as an episode, sir?
Because I lack self-confidence.
Wow, that just got deep really quickly. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Yes, we are going through the top 10 worst rated Doctor Who episodes on IMDb, is it, Mr. Crispy?
Yes, IMDB, the most reliable place for all opinions.
It's definitely not a place where things get review bombed.
Never heard that phrase in my life?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No, it's never happened with anything, you know? That's a ridiculous concept. That's like saying that people would dislike a Star Wars show so much they'd just go and review bomb something that has a similar name but is an entirely different project because they want to hate on it.
Is that true?
That is actually true, by the way, because people hated
Did
the
that happen
Acolytes so much they review bombed a film called Acolytes that wasn't the same thing in any way, shape, or form.
Dearie me. I saw a similar thing where someone on TikTok, they owned a cafe or something, and they had like some really poor management of the cafe, or someone did like a really bad service or something. Anyway, a lot of people review bombed that cafe and another cafe that had a similar name, and that other cafe had to close down due to poor publicity, and they had nothing to do with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Point being, review bombing is bad, and a lot of this is going to be us trying to defend the episodes in this list, unless they're all from 55. No, I've mellowed to it a little bit with age. I still don't. I still think it's it's probably my least favorite episode of Doctor Who. But it's got decent parts. I think somewhere
there's some episodes in here. I'm like, you know what? That should probably be there. but some of them I'm like, what?
Well,
I just
Crispy,
don't expect some of these.
Take me on an adventure, sir. Take me on an adventure. Oh wait. Do you hear that?
What?
I hear it.
What is it?
I hear music, sir. I hear music from an old feature on the podcast. Do you hear that?
What music is it? What music is it?
Please put this together, because the bit will be really funny if you think about it in time.
Is it Doos?
No. Come on, sir. Come on, what's the other one?
What other, bingo?
Poll time.
Oh, it's poll time, of course. It's poll time.
The funniest part of that is it'll probably sound fine, again, as always when I say these things in the recording, but when you went, oh, your mic peaked so loud, it was ridiculous. Oh. Ah! I was like, it's like I heard the penny drop. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, last time on Who's There, don't you love a bit of continuity? Previously we suggested a poll should be made. I then forgot to put up the poll until yesterday, but that's not what we're talking about. We have done a poll. Well, the time it goes out. It won't be yesterday. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. I said it in the wrong order. Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
I kind of like it, though.
I like a bit of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, don't you, sir? We had a bit of a discussion last week when we talked about Doctor Who spin-offs about whether the Sarah Jane Adventures or Torchwood would be the more popular spin-off among our audience. And we have 262 votes on YouTube so far, sir.
Oh,
would you like
played.
to place a guess as to the percentage spread between Sarah Jane Adventures and Torchwood. The question was, which of these spin-offs is your favourite? So just objective, well, subjective, I guess, people's favourites. What do you think the split's going to be?
Man, that is tough. I would believe anyway. If you told me that 99% of the votes were for Sarah Jane Adventures, I'd believe you. If you told me that 99% of the votes were for Torchwood, I would also believe you. So, I'm going to have to say 54% in favour of Sarah Jane Adventures. That's my guess.
That has got to be one of the closest poll predictions to the real result I've ever seen. At the time of recording, with 262 votes, the Sarah Jane Adventures has pulled 52% of the vote, while Torchwood has 48%. It is nearly a dead split.
Wow. Wow. Honestly, impressed. Well done, Who's Their Audience. Well done.
I do think I also might have kept the poll on Spotify. They've changed a few things on Spotify podcasters, formerly Anchor, but they did loads of renaming and reorganising. They got rid of the Q&A section, so we can't ask you questions anymore, which is a bit of a shame. But polls, I believe, are still there, and I think I put the poll in there. So let me have a quick look and see if there's any poll results on Spotify. I waffled long enough to get there. There's only 6 votes, and 4 said Sarah Jane, 2 said Torchwood. So perhaps a similar trend if there were more votes, but who knows?
Wow, I think maybe Sarah Jane might just win this battle.
Even slightly, maybe. Yeah, you never know. There you go. Okay. So that's our regular feature. Poll time concluded. Sir, you have an IMDB list to take me through, and you have some callers. I'm going to kick back, relax, just put my feet up, and enjoy being taken on a ride, sir. So, take me through the list, my friend.
Well, welcome everybody to the top 10 worst episodes of Doctor Who ever. Oh, this is funky.
Come on now. Is someone going to say Powered by Riverside? I really hope they do.
Maybe.
I hope
We're
so.
vibing out.
Come on. Woo! Someone say it, please. They didn't, but...
Powered by Riverside F.
Did you put that on the soundboard?
No, that's already there.
Please sponsor us, Riverside. Thank you very much. All right, sir. How are we beginning this? I assume number 10.
No, we're not, Troy. I'm going to mention some honourable mentions sponsored by Riverside FM today. These are 2 episodes that I think, personally, should have cracked the top 10, but missed out by that much. A teeny tiny amount.
Okay,
just a fraction.
And what are they?
By 0.1% they missed out. Troy, the first one is in the Peter Capaldi era. Any guesses? Any guesses? What do you think the worst episode in the Peter Capaldi era is?
I feel like the popular opinion is going to be either In the Forest of the Night or Sleep No More. So I imagine at least one of those will appear on the list. I think one that'd be quite close might be The Woman Who Lived. That's one of my least favourite episodes of Modern Run and of Capaldi's run, so maybe that one.
Okay. Troy, no, you're absolutely incorrect. Coming in at number 12 is, of course, Sleep No More.
Oh, so I was close then. There you go. It was one of the names I said. There you go.
And In the Forest of the Night is number 15. How do you feel about that?
People rate Sleep No More lower than In the Forest of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put my hat in the ring and say I disagree with that, personally.
I disagree. You know what? We'll shake on that, Troy. I disagree with that.
There you go.
In the Forest of the Night, horrible episode. Sleep No More, at least they tried.
Yeah.
I don't know. They tried something different for once.
So what's number 11?
Oh, number 11. Oh my goodness gracious me! It's a David Tennant episode. It's one in which peanut butter features prominently with David Tennant.
Is that peanut butter? I thought it was marmalade he puts his fingers in Fear Her.
Oh well, maybe it's marmalade.
Is it Fear Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so you're talking about the infamous shot that I've pointed out for continuity before, where he puts 2 fingers in, puts them in his mouth.
I thought it was peanut butter.
Goes back to him, and he's got 1 finger in his mouth instead. Do you know what? I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, it hasn't got continuity, and that's the real problem.
That is the real problem.
That's why the episode sucks.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
So that's it's my least favorite episode of Doctor Who, and it didn't even crack the top 10. It's number 11 currently. I can't believe it, Troy.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. How do you feel about that episode in general?
I think if I was making a top 10, that episode would end up in there. However, as we've talked about, as we're going to probably see in this list, there's going to be a bit more of a leniency, I feel like, towards the 13th Doctor in this list. An unfair leniency, so it doesn't really surprise me Fear Her got pushed out as a result, assumedly.
Yeah, well, it's time for the unfairness to begin. Let's begin!
Oh, no.
With
we go into this as Jodie lovers,
10.
ladies and gentlemen. We go in as Jodie lovers. Here we go.
Number 10.
Number 10.
There we go.
You're going to do a vine boom for every single one.
Every single one, that's going to be our intro. Unless I can find something else. Transition to? What's that?
No. Vine booms work. Vine booms work.
Okay, we can use vine booms.
Give us another one.
Okay.
Say the name.
Number 10. It is, of course, an episode from the Jodie Whitaker era. This one I fully disagree with. Do not think it should be in the top 10. Matter of fact, there's some quite creative things within this episode that Doctor Who doesn't generally do. It talks about mental health. It's got a cool animated segment.
Can you hear me?
Anything? Yes, I can, Troy, but do you know the episode?
Very funny. Maybe we should do this as a game. You tease it and I have to name it, see how quickly I can name it.
That's what we're going to do. Everyone play along at home. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun on this podcast.
As soon as you said
and
mental health, I knew it was
subscribe.
Can You Hear Me? But I was like, I don't want to cut him off too soon.
No, it's... I actually genuinely enjoy this episode. There's some strange choices, but I think it's quite well directed. I think some of the street filming at night with the two gods looks fantastic. The floating fingers is a very weird concept.
I love the floating fingers.
You love floating fingers? If
chocolate
we had
fingers.
floating fingers, we could go and I could get the marmalade from the fridge right now.
You can stop right there. Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought you were going to say get the marmalade from David Tennant, and I was going to be like, I don't like where this is going.
I'll get... No. That's my father. How dare you? So, anyway, can you hear me? Your thoughts?
I can hear you. And my thoughts are that I think it's one of the best episodes for some of the companion exploration. I think, obviously, we can talk about the whole, Graham's worried his cancer's going to come back, and the doctor's like, I'm still quite socially awkward. We've debated this before on the podcast. We missed it. We see both sides. Chris Chibnall was trying to write the 13th Doctor to be a bit more autistic, and therefore not really responding amazingly. Well, not amazingly. Amazing is not the right word, but maybe not conventionally responding to situations as the way non-autistic people might. Fine, understand that. I still do think it's open to criticism either way, because I do think it didn't land perfectly, even if it did for others. That's personal opinion. That aside, I think dealing with some of the companions' fears, also getting the insight into Yaz nearly committing suicide and that thing with the 50p, that is one of my favourite exchange of dialogue things that happens companion character-wise in the whole era. I love that. There's some really great stuff in there, and I wonder if we've got more with some of the stuff that happens with companions, like Ryan and his friend. His friend missing him. If we got more of that companion drama that felt almost, it wasn't written like it, but it kind of had Rusty Davies vibes to it, that more social... friends, family, domestic element. How we have more of that? Would the companions be more fleshed out in Chibnall's era? I think so.
100%.
So,
well
that episode
put,
of
Troy.
More Than a Lot does not belong in that list, in my opinion.
Well, that was number 10. Now we're going to have a word from our callers, not our sponsors, because we're never sponsored. I've had a sneaky listen to a lot of these calls, and I thought it could be fun to give you the number as to where their things like the episodes that they say are. Okay. So this person who says that this episode is the worst of all time is actually number 49 on the list. Number 49. Here we go. Hello, Dr. Master.
The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. I cannot stand that episode, and I don't even know what it is. It's just so boring. It's the only episode I just can't bear myself to rewatch. I just literally I can't stand it, and I don't even know why specifically. But I just didn't care about any of the characters. The kids were annoying, and I think that's why as well, because it was very kid heavy, and just the Moffat era child acting characters but also I don't like the Battle of Ranskrow Kolos. So boring. But yeah.
Interesting.
For the audio listeners, When Dr. Master started saying about Dr. Wood in the wardrobe, I started silently cheering, and Crispy shook his head and said no. Explain why no.
No, I was trying to say your famous saying about this episode, which is, of course, that you don't waste Bill Bailey.
Oh, yeah!
That's your famous saying.
Yeah, you don't waste Bill Bailey. You don't.
You just simply don't. It's simple maths.
Exactly.
It's simple maths.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great episode, but thank you so much for calling.
And very
in.
well explained.
Very,
it feels
well
like a very
put.
nothing episode. Like, I don't feel anything watching it, really. And it has Alexander Armstrong in. I like Alexander Armstrong, but he's just kind of
Yes,
there.
as do I.
Yeah.
Alex,
The episode felt a bit
strong.
pointless. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So, which one was 49th there? I take it Dr. Wood in the wardrobe.
Yeah, Dr. Wood in the wardrobe was 49th.
I have a sneaking
on the
suspicion Ranscore may return later.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see,
That's
my
a yes,
boy.
folks. All right, Crispy, what's
Ooh.
next?
All right, next up we have, oh no, it's yet another episode from the Jodie Whitaker era. This one, kind of agree with.
Okay.
This is a tensious spot between you and myself, Troy. This is one that we have argued over as to whether we actually enjoy the episode, and it's not full of trying to do too much.
It's the Vanquishers.
It's the Vanquishers. Well,
Yeah.
you know what, Troy? This is what you get. This is what you get for that. Boom! A bloody boom!
I'll just
That's number
pretend I'm
9.
getting punched or something next time you do it. Like,
Oh, ooh. Yes, coming in at number 9 with 5.8 out of 10. That's 5.6 out of 10. Is The Vanquishers, the final episode of The Flux, which I thought was a really, really fun time all the way back in 2021. I just thought the finale really didn't stick the landing. It had too much to do. It's quite a difficult watch for me personally because I'm dumb, I'm slow. I need to be focused on one doctor at a time. No, it's not true, I suppose. I enjoy the multi-doctor specials. It's just a weird episode. It's got so much going on. Troy, your thoughts?
it's got a lot going on, and Chibnall definitely has to account for a lot of the things he set up very quickly, and splitting the Doctor up into 3 parts. You'll love it or you'll hate it. I think there's definitely parts I don't like about the episode. I do kind of... I don't know whether I love or hate the fact that the cliffhanger from the previous episode where Swarm's about to touch and dissolve the Doctor is undone by her just walking out of the way of his hand. It just felt like a very underwhelming resolution to that cliffhanger. When the previous one we'd had 13 as a weeping angel, which some people have argued against that being a terrible cliffhanger. In retrospect, I disagree. I think that cliffhanger still holds up. I think it's fantastic.
I think it's so cool. I think it's one of the coolest looking cliffhangers of all time anyway.
But also, this is not a hot take, it's not well explained that the Flux has been fully undone. There's some things that are explained and some things that aren't, and the fact that
the Flux wasn't fully undone, was it?
Yeah, because there's dialogue that kind of says you saved half the universe, or you saved the day, you saved our lives, and then I think the 14th Doctor does say destroyed half the universe and well beyond her.
Yeah.
So the Flux did just destroy half the universe. They didn't undo it. Which is inconsistent. Crazy.
I don't know. I feel like Russell texted Chris and was like, so what happened? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, bro, can you just let me know? Was there a line missing in the scripts? And Chris goes, mate, by the end of it, man, I was exhausted. Don't even go.
Absolutely buggered. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a great finale for what it tries to do. I also loved seeing a Sontaran drool over the word chocolate in a corner shop in Liverpool. So, it's the little things for me.
It is, yeah. No, you know what, Troy? Well put. Thank you. Sir.
Thank you.
But speaking of finales, perhaps an episode that would be maybe, let's have a look. I'm going to reckon it would be about 25th on the list. 25th worst episode of Doctor Who of all time.
I'm going to say Empire of Death, just because I can tolerate the ones that basically are not the best, because obviously they grow you and they go like kind of stuck in your memory because they've been bad. But Empire of Death would just let the whole series down. And it was building up to be something that could have been very, very good and classic. And the second series will hopefully kind of, obviously, you look back at it, but just what they've done with Sutek and things like that as well, it just kind of just fizzled out. And to me, I can't get over that. Even the Jodie era and, Love and Monsters and things. Yeah.
Hey guys, Vincent here from Hungary. So the worst episode in Doctor Who is always the most recent finale, because I remember in 2014 it was the Death in Heaven, because why the hell is the Brigadier is a Cyberman? What? Then 2015, what the hell is a hybrid? I don't understand. Then 2016, where the hell is Doctor Who? And in 2017, okay, that was actually pretty good. Then in 2018, there was the Teeth Man returned. Why? Then in 2019, then in 2020, this just broke the canon. Then in 2021, why is there 3 doctors? And then 2024, so the mom is actually no one? So what?
Wow. Wow.
You sly dog playing in the message right after.
Yeah, I did back-to-back calls. That's
Did
never
you say Timeless
been
Child broke
done.
canon? Come on, Vincent.
You know what Vincent's issue is here?
What?
It is my favorite. One of my favorite side stories of Who's Their Lore is that Vincent's first episode was half of the Wedding of River Song. Bro has it out for series finales.
Yeah, he does.
I can understand it. I can understand it. Mate,
If
really
season
can.
6 was my first finale, I'd understand it.
Yeah. I'm a Series 6 defender, and even then, completely agree.
There you
So
go.
yeah, people were not that fond of Empire of Death. I remember you and I felt quite underwhelmed. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. There's some fun stuff in there.
I
But-
still had a really good time with the episode. I was underwhelmed by some elements. I still think pointing at a sign to name your kid is one of the stupidest
my
things
word.
Ross has ever written, and I say that with all the love in the
Oh
world to
my
him.
word.
Which, side note, I don't know if I said this last week, but I just want to reiterate. I find it so funny how much the narrative has changed around Russell that on that video about me meeting him at the proms, our comment section has several comments that's like, oh, it's so cool that you met him. However, I personally wouldn't want to meet him, or I wouldn't want to meet him because he's ruined Doctor Who, blah, blah,
interesting.
blah. Like,
I didn't
the
see any of
narrative has
that.
changed so much.
The narrative has changed. Take me back to 2021 when he was announced.
And everyone
everyone
was
was
like,
like,
he's the saviour. It's like
he's-
Loki in Thor Ragnarok. Your saviour is here!
He
And
is
now it's
Doctor
like-
Who Jesus.
Yeah. It's just, whatever. Point being, like, that's one of Russell's moments. Like, I have very, very few issues with Russell's writing, like, ever. But that's one where I went, come on, fella, what are you thinking? There's no way. Pointing at a sign, no. But that's my biggest issue. Well, no, that's not true. Pacing is not perfect, and Sutek could have had more to do. But again, I think a lot of it could have been solved, as I've said a million times at this point, by having the first 10 minutes up to around Kate dying in the previous episode for better stakes. That would have
Absolutely.
helped a lot.
Absolutely.
Do I think it's one of the worst episodes? No. Do I think it's perfect? No. I don't think it should come into either conversation for best or worst episodes. It's in the middle.
Well, I wonder if you'll think this episode is perfect. Introducing episode number 8. Here we go. Ooh. This one was a first draft of an episode. Troy, do you have any
Ranskorav
idea?
Kolos,
Yes, of course.
infamously
It
a
is-
first draft, the first Jodie finale.
It is 2018's The Battle of Ranskor Avkolos. What a title, what an episode. Chris
The
Chibnall
title was
has
a
even
first
admitted...
draft.
Yeah. Chibnall has even admitted that, this is not his best work, and you can see why. It feels like a fever dream, this episode. It's so unbelievably boring. I find it really boring. Do you... I actually can't think of any redeeming qualities. I think it looks kind of nice, but even then, it's a very grey palette of an episode, right?
It's not a finale.
It's not a finale. Swap It Takes You Away at Battle of Ranskor Avkolos, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I don't think that would have made it any better. I think that would have
Well,
felt like
look,
It Takes
yeah.
You Away is a great episode, but that's not a good finale either.
Well,
I'm-
thematically it wraps up that season.
Yeah, it wraps up one of the biggest story arcs, which is Ryan and Colin Graham as granddad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't really, it's just a very, that belongs in this list. That's a very nothing burger of an episode.
It Takes You Away or Battle of Ranskor Avkolos.
What do you think, sir?
Okay.
Fun fact, first time I watched It Takes You Away, I was not a fan. But every time I've seen it since,
Same.
I really like it.
didn't like that frog, but whatever. I'll take the frog over Big Dog any day.
Frog over dog.
Controversial. Frog over dog.
I've got a
Okey-dokey.
frog. His name's Fred.
His name's Fred. So yes, that was the Battle of Ranskor, of course, that had a 5.3 out of 10. Oof, it's tough. But hey, let's talk about 5.2 out of 10. My goodness, it's time for number 7 now. Here we go. This one is written by someone that is going to be very heavily involved in the battle between the land and the sea. Is that what it's called? What's it called?
The war between the land and the sea?
The war between... Not the battle. The war between the land and the sea.
The war between Ranskorav Kolos.
Any guesses as to what the episode is? It's another Jodie one.
I see what you did there.
Any
Legend
ideas?
of the Sea Devils.
No, it's not.
Well, hang on, how's this connected to the war between the land and the sea? If it's not Sea Devils.
The show is written by, the War Between the Land and the Sea will be written by Russell and a guest writer who previously wrote this episode.
Pete McTighe.
Yeah. And it's not the big one, it's the other one.
No, because the other one is... It wasn't Pete McTighe that wrote Orphan 55, it was Ed Heim, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Pete McTighe wrote this one.
What episode is it?
It is, of course, they deal with plastics.
Oh, Praxius?
And Praxius, correct. Coming in at 7th with 5.2
really?
Out of 10 is 2018's Praxius. Remember, kids, reduce, reuse, and recycle. This episode's fine. It's pretty forgettable, I think. There's like crows and someone that is like an annoying YouTuber. I hate YouTubers. I hate
me
them.
too, man. Oof.
Ugh. Grr. Yeah, I really don't actually have that much to say about.
I don't have
this
much
episode
bad
of
to say
Doctor Who.
about it. I don't think it's an amazing episode, but I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's even a good episode, not a great episode, but it's good. I think it's one of the episodes that handles like it's an inverted commas social message that Chibnall's episodes were a little less subtle about. I think it handles that one a bit better, and I think that's one that I think worked quite effectively. Where a lot of people have that conversation of, wait, so do we all have microplastics inside us? And that's like a really daunting realization. It was for me at the time. I hadn't properly clocked it. Like I think there's merit to that. So I'm going to disagree with that one being in the list as well.
Wow. Oh.
I'm here to stir trouble, baby.
Oh, it's tense.
I'm here to chew gum and stir trouble, and I'm all out of gum.
Here we go. Well,
I don't chew gum anyway,
almost all out of fun because it's time to chat about number 6 that also has 5.2 out of 10. This one is the big one, folks. Here we go.
No way.
This one I wholeheartedly agree with. You know what? Screw it. I'd put it higher. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What's it gonna be now? Let's listen to William to see what they have to say.
No way.
I think the worst has just got to be the series opener of Space Babies and Devil's Court.
It's Space Babe, not Devil's Court. Anyway, let's continue the call.
They're on back-to-back on BBC One and on iPlayer, and the hype and excitement for that new Series 14 coming in, and then to have the Space Babies one as the first one was just absolutely awful. I mean, I don't know how anyone could like that episode. Same with the Devil's Court. I didn't like that one, but it was better than Space Babies slightly, so I'll say Space Babies, the worst.
What?
Wow. Yeah.
No.
5.2
No.
out of 10.
No.
Space Babies.
No.
You simply don't agree with this,
I'm not
Troy.
being funny. I don't really like 73 Yards that much, but even I would complain about that being on the top 10 worst episodes list because a lot of people love that episode, and I would bow to that out of respect. I don't think anything out of season 1 should be on the top. What?
Yeah.
Look, I know we don't all love Space Babies, but for goodness sake, are we really, after a couple of months saying it's one of the worst episodes of the show, are we really at that point, folks?
Troy, I am. I am.
Why?
Genuinely. It's off-putting. It's a strange concept. Feels like a Children in Need special. Agreed. There's some fun moments. There's probably some of the more genuine moments between Shooty and Millie throughout the entire series. But I just don't like that episode at all. It makes me uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like an intro episode. It makes me embarrassed for the show. This is the one that I put all my cards in being like, hey, Doctor Who is back. Doctor Who is back, baby. But it wasn't.
So it's your hubris that's the problem, sir.
It is my Dr. Hubris, brother.
As Count Dooku once said, twice the pride, double the fall.
Yes.
I do agree with your point that it's not a good opener. I don't... Well, to an extent, I think in terms of the villain and the plot of the majority of the episode, yeah, it would be better as a middle episode. I do really love the opening 10 minutes before they're on the ship. Like, I need to make that point clear. I absolutely love, whether we agree or not, I don't really care. I absolutely love the conversation in the TARDIS between the Doctor and Ruby. I think he does a really good job of introducing you to who he is and giving you a bit of background. I don't think that's bad at all. I think maybe because we know the information, maybe people are more judgmental of it. I watched that and I'm like, this is the kind of stuff we need with a new companion. Give him a quick rundown of the stuff. I think it could have been explored better throughout the season, don't get me wrong. There were several things that Ruby said parking that, and she never unparked. It was just parked in the car park for the whole season. But I liked that episode. I think there's some great Shooty moments. I love the speech about nobody grows up wrong. I think that's really good. I like seeing Shooty in his doctory, sciencey mood. I think there's some good setups for the snow and the mystery for Ruby. The payoff not being great, I'm not going to put on this episode. The Bogeyman as a villain, very mid, not very interesting. The bogey going on Ruby's head was a funny joke, but was played out far too long. Like, it could have been, that bit was extended far longer than it needed to be. The babies talking, I like, it's jarring to some people, and I won't blame you if you feel that way. I personally have kind of gone past it now, and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of just impressed they managed to make it even look half convincing, so I don't mind that. Overall, I think it's not an amazing episode. It's one of the weakest season openers, sure, agree, but the idea it's one of the worst episodes, no, absolutely not. I'm against that wholeheartedly.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. Space Babies was, in fact, the worst episode of Doctor Who, and that is where the list ends.
Let's keep moving, sir.
All right, we got like 5 more to get through, so here we go. Number 5.
Are we speedrunning it? What's happening? I feel like I've got Top of the Pops energy going on here.
Yeah, no, we gotta go. We gotta go. Here we go. This one, it's contentious. Here we go. Hello, Logan.
The Timeless Children, in terms of, the bad idea, but, when I think least favorite, I think of like most forgettable, and that's pretty much Orphan 55.
Oh, I didn't listen to the end of that call. I just thought they were talking about the Timeless Children. Maybe this person's just talking about the Timeless Children. Hello, Jim.
Hi guys, Jim here. Worst episode, Timeless Child. Breaks canon. Thanks.
No, thank you, Jim, for your concise call. We've chatted about this so much. It was so controversial at the time. We had this trending on Twitter. It was all over town. My goodness, Doctor Who is dead. Oh, guess what? We survived from the Timeless Child. And so did the Doctor, because they have infinite lives, apparently. This episode, I think, is incredibly well directed. There's actually some... It's an interesting concept. Good on Chibnall for taking a risk.
Yeah.
We've chatted about this so much. We've had whole episodes dedicated to the Timeless Child, surely. Are you over it, Troy?
I'm pretty over it. I'm so unbelievably over it. It's not even funny. Every time I hear it breaks canon, I just want to slam my head against the table. Yeah. I can understand it being perceived that way, don't get me wrong. For me, I just see it the way it was intended, which was to open up more stories. And I think if Russell can do some good stuff with that, it'll make it all the more worthwhile. And he's already left hints of it, so I'm hoping that he goes more into it in the second season. I like the idea of the Doctor and his companion both being orphans and like exploring that. I don't know whether he will now that Ruby's story's majorly been wrapped up, but The Timeless Child, I think, is a pretty good... not pretty good. It's a fun episode. I enjoy it. It's not one of the best finales, don't get me wrong, but I love seeing Sacha Dhawan eat up the screen. Love the Lone Cyberman. Love the Jodie Cybermen. I think they're really cool. I think the Timeless Child as a concept is great. Would have been better if it was the Master. Yes, I know some people disagree on that. Whatever, I don't care. But I don't mind the Doctor's the Timeless Child. It didn't bother me, then it bothered me, then it really doesn't bother me now. If you think it breaks canon, fair play. I won't tell you you're wrong. I just don't agree personally, and I'm so sick of hearing it. So I would not put. I can understand why it's on the list, but you know what? Maybe we should do a video an episode where it's just me ranking my 10 least favorite episodes. Because I feel like I'm making a lot of comments about why I wouldn't put things, but that one I wouldn't put in my top 10.
That's fantastic, Troy. That's great. You know how we did our rankers of like our personal favorite episodes? We do it with the least ones. We do it with our least favorite ones.
I'm down. And then there'll probably be some calls we've got spare here. If you delete the ones we've used, keep the ones spare we haven't used, we'll use them for the next recording, and then bam, we double up on the calls.
I don't know. There's some pretty wild takes in the calls today, but lots to get through. Troy,
we've been recording for a while. Yeah, come on.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Here we go. Number 4.
People have got work to get to.
Number 4. This one has 5.1 out of 10. I'm sorry to say, but quite literally all bar one of the episodes in this list have been Jodie episodes, so I gotta stop giving you that hint. this one involves big scary spiders.
Arachnids in the UK.
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
Extraordinarily mid. Don't think it's particularly special. I can understand that one maybe more so. I think the biggest problem with it, the spiders are quite scary and very well done VFX wise, but if Jodie goes, or 13 goes into a big thing about how shooting them is not a humane way to kill them, and then locks them in a room to starve with the use of Stormzy, I don't understand how morally that's a better option. I still do not understand that to this day. But I love the idea of the story that's like radioactivity in the sewage and stuff has poisoned the spiders and made them big, blah, blah, blah. I love that. I absolutely love that. I just think it's one of those cases where the episode was terribly executed from a pretty good concept. In the Forest of the Night kind of suffers from that too. The idea of waking up and everything is a forest. It's like, what's that about? But it's just a bit, it doesn't really do a lot. I don't really know what more you could have done with that episode. I don't know if it's coming, but like, oh wait, no, it's not, is it? No, it's not. It's not.
It's not even in. Didn't even crack the top 10, mate. That was number 15.
Intriguing. But yeah, so I'm of two minds about that one being there. I can see both sides.
Well, one episode that I'm very confused about being here is we have had Psy call in, and they have suggested an episode that is currently episode 100 on the list. So there are 99 episodes people reckon are better than this one, but Psy thinks this is the worst episode of Doctor Who ever, and I'm very curious to hear what they have to say. Hello, Psy.
I'd say my least favorite episode is Deep Breath because while Peter Capaldi is like still a good doctor and he has some really great episodes, in this first episode he doesn't feel the doctor. He leaves Clara and it's a whole thing. And then I feel like the plot is also lazy and there's still a whole bunch of unanswered questions.
Ooh, I disagree. What are the... Oh, Crispy is walking out. He took a deep breath and he's walking out. Very funny, sir. What are the unanswered questions?
My episode's name out your gosh damn mouth!
Oh, you've turned him into Will Smith. That's not good. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. It's Crispy Smith. Look, one thing I should have said earlier, and I think we both believe, and I think you all know we believe it, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion. We won't ever say your opinion is wrong, even if it absolutely is. But no, I don't see that at all. Fair enough, but that's, yeah. Deep Breath makes me think, it's one of those episodes, because it's so long, it's basically a film. I wonder how that would look if it had a standard length, whether it would still flow as well. But I also think on the other side, imagine if more episodes had that length. Like if you had like the Sherlock length episodes of Doctor Who, did like a few of them like that.
True.
Well, that could be an interesting idea.
And get 3 of them every 3 years.
Okay, forget that. That idea sucks. Crispy, what's number 3?
Number 3. Here we go. Number 3 time.
The third worst voted episode. Come on.
The third worst voted episode of all time.
Try and give me a subtle hint this time. Make it hard for me.
It's got pregnancy in it.
Okay, it's the Saranga Conundrum.
It's the Saranga Conundrum. Pating's fun, iconic villain, but just a weird episode, I guess. I don't know. I think it might just be the pacing. I feel like it's a really slow episode. Do you feel that with this one?
Yeah. It's. I need to rewatch. It's been a year or two since I've seen it, but this again. It's a phrase I'm using a lot at the minute, and I guess it's just some, Gen Z speak or whatever, but it's very much, again, it's a nothing burger of an episode. There's nothing to it where I go, this is particularly amazing, or this is particularly bad. It just kind of exists. And I think that Pating's quite a cute little interesting villain, like monster. I don't mind him, but I don't really have feelings either way about it. I think it just kind of exists. So I think third worst episode, that's not.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair.
And part of the review's
Troy.
there. I mean, you're halfway through Series 11, which was already dividing people a lot, so people are going to start being more negative as time goes by, right? So that's natural.
Absolutely. And that absolutely applies to this next episode. Number 2.
Oh, come on, what have we got?
Oh, boy. We have officially reached below 5 out of 10. This one has a 4.6 out of 10.
Okay.
And is one of the specials from 2022. Any guesses as to which one?
Got to be Legend of the Sea Devils.
Oh boy! The second worst episode of Doctor Who.
No.
I disagree. I disagree.
We have both been Legend of the Sea Devil defenders, not like praising it, but like, is it as bad as everyone makes out? I don't think it is.
Like, happily would watch Legend of the Sea Devils over the Saranga of Conundrum, over the Battle of Ranskor Avpolis. Heck, over Space Babies, I'll say it.
Do you know what? That's actually a really good question. I don't know which one.
That's this week's poll.
That's a great poll. Space Babies or Legend of the Sea Devils? Join us next time when we find out that result. But yeah, I like Legend of the Sea Devils. Its biggest problem for me, aside from anything else you might pick out, like Mario jumping sea devils and strange sword fight choreography, it's just that it feels like there were about 10 minutes of the episode that just were randomly deleted from the editing timeline.
Something's going on.
Something
is going on.
Yeah.
BBC were like, oh, you know what? Let's make it a Halloween special. And then
we got to fit Mrs. Brown's Boys in here. There's a random Easter special.
Yeah.
You know, cut it down. No, I blame Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Cut it down. We'll get it out for Easter.
I think it didn't have enough room to breathe, and that's its biggest problem for me.
Absolutely.
Not second worst episode.
Who did breathe? The Sea Devils, and we saw their faces do all kinds of weird face morphing in that episode, but I love them. I love the Sea Devils. I hope they return in a spin-off soon.
I hope so too.
Okie dokies, before we get to the number one position, I think it's time we have a little cliffhanger of our own and listen to someone that has actually submitted a classic episode of Doctor Who. Is this the worst episode of Doctor Who? Let's find out right now. Hello, stranger, who's definitely not Aiden from the 50% Doctor Who podcast.
Oh, boys. You haven't seen nothing until you have seen the Web Planet. It is just 2 hours of bleeding from the eyes and bleeding from the ears. It is the worst experience you'll have in your entire life. I don't recommend it. Just save yourselves.
It sounds like he went through the 5 stages of grief in 24 seconds.
Yeah, I think he actually did. I've heard lots about the Web Planet and don't want to watch it, but I feel like it would make a good video.
Patrick Troughton, second Doctor story, right?
An excellent question. As Aiden pointed out, I ain't seen nothing yet because I actually don't know. I think it might be a Hartnell one.
Maybe your next classic Doctor Who video should be I watched the worst classic episodes and picked the worst reviewed one from each Doctor.
Oh gosh. Yeah, wow.
It's a great idea.
Iconic outfits though. Iconic costumes in that episode. Anyway.
So what, you said it's first Doctor?
Yes, it's Mr. Hartnell.
Well, the show was still finding its feet. There you go. There's an excuse. All right.
Well,
Crispy, can we just take a moment to celebrate? Because I think I know what's in number one, and that means that the iconic, that tastes like chicken, the beautiful, ELO-filled Mark Warren starring Love and Monsters did not appear in the top 10 worst episodes list. Can we have a round of applause, please?
No. We could have a drum roll.
Okay, well, here's the completely unsurprising first place worst Doctor episode. Say it, Crispy.
It is, of course, Orphan 55!
Who saw that coming? Nobody.
Wow.
Nobody saw that one coming.
Astonishing 4.2
There are about
out
55
of 10.
orphans that saw that one coming.
Yeah. Wow. What a mess.
Yeah.
I hope anyone called in. Oh, yes, we do. Let's hear from Zach to hear what they have to say on Orphan 55.
Hi, my least favourite episode is Orphan 55 just because the monsters look really weird and also I didn't really like the plotline. Also, the reason why K9 didn't appear in the Sarah Jane Adventures much is because some other guy called Bob Baker owned the rights to K9 because he wrote them, I think, or the character rights or something like that. So that's why he didn't appear in Sarah Jane Adventures. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Zach, for answering a question from last week.
Yes, cheers for the lore dump. That's brilliant.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Orphan 55. It's a tough one.
I feel like my energy for hating on this episode is just worn out over time, but it is still just not good. The sucking thumb thing between Ryan and the random girl, the storyline between the girl and her mum, like, it's bizarre.
Wasted old mate from the Inbetweeners.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not even an Inbetweeners fan particularly, but I know from like what James Buckley can do, he was wasted. It's Earth reveal, I swear, it was revealed like 3 different times. Correct. And like you have to deal with the reaction every time. And then again, that speech at the end. Again, I feel like I've worn myself out saying this, and I remember originally hearing it on Nerdkey's podcast that he did, but it was a completely true point. Like, I tried to come up with my own opinions, but I heard this one and went, oh no, this really is true, which is that the way that Doctor Who time travel works is that unless you go back to actually change something, the future you've landed in is the future. So you can't land on Orphan 55 and say, this is one possible future, you can change things. No, clearly history did not change things, and that's how it's ended up there. Unless you make a conceited effort to go back and fix things, that's the future you're going to get. So that doesn't hold at all. I know what you're going for, but that doesn't land. And yeah, Doctor Who's continuity and canon is a bit all over the place, and you could wave your hand and forget it, but that is very much no, we've had episodes where going back and change things change the future, and not doing it caused consequences. We saw it as recently as The Devil's Cord. Here's what happens if we don't go back and stop Maestro. Imagine if Shooty had gone, oh, Maestro will sort herself out, that's not a problem, and then they carry on, and then London's just destroyed in 2024. Yeah. They land in Legend of Ruby Sunday into a crashed unit tower, and everyone's just skeletons on the floor. What happened? Oh, we didn't go back and deal with Maestro. I thought if we just changed, we just made an effort off screen, it was no, it's not how it works. It's not how it works, Doc.
No.
So yeah, it's just a bit of a, and that it just ruined it. Also, it's the cherry on top of that. Why is this speech at the end here? We talk about how some of the subtlety is really lost in the political in inverted commas, whatever, in like the messaging of some of these episodes, because political energy is throughout Doctor Who, whether you like it or not. It's just that subtlety, and that is one of the worst. Like, there is no subtle, there is a fist. It is made of ham, and you're swallowing the whole thing right now. The speeches I've ever heard in Doctor Who. It's not.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest. It's way too in your face, and you're like, oh, I get it. I'm the villain.
But you see,
Nobody
I forgive
wants
that
to
if
admit
the episode
that they're the villain.
like leading up to it was still pretty good, but it's just very much not. It's just very
I think the first 10 minutes are quite fun. The opening with the giant slug in the TARDIS, I think, is fun. I always like the idea of the companions actually going. Yes, Graham and his Speedos. I love that idea. I like the idea of the companions actually going on holiday and exploring the universe. I really wish we got more of that. But yeah, maybe after the first 5 minutes, the episode it doesn't hold up. It does not hold up, unfortunately.
The monsters, the dregs, I've made this point a million times as well, definitely inspired by the Hoyks, whether you agree or not, I don't really care. The Hoyks of Love and Monsters fame. The monster from near the start of the episode with the weird Scooby-Doo running moment. Look, Love and Monsters isn't perfect. I love it, but it's not perfect.
It's a great episode.
But yeah, it's a fantastic episode. Subjectively, objectively maybe less so, but subjectively one of the best. I love it. I don't care.
It only came in at number 20.
Blimey. That shows you what the review bombing for Jodie era, man, crazy.
It's shocking.
In another life, that would be in this list and we'd be talking about it. But
absolutely.
The dregs were very clearly based on the Hoyks, but I don't even think that was as much of a problem. The problem was the way in which they were presented. That I remember the very first shot of them was like in the dark, and you could see like drool come off their teeth, very horror-y framed, and was genuinely unsettling and scary. And then every other shot, it's in complete full light, and they look all rubbery, and then the threat's just kind of
walking
gone.
around.
And it's like, come on, man, you were cooking. Well, what's the quote from Succession? They had some juice here, but they spilt the juice on the table.
Yep. So that is officially the worst episode of Doctor Who ever. Troy, your thoughts on this list?
Intriguing. There are some episodes that I can agree with being here, some I absolutely can't. I really do think it's too soon to put a season 1 episode in there, but maybe that's just my personal thoughts.
I don't.
It's a shame that you're wrong, Crispy. I feel sorry for you, man. My condolences. No,
my condolences. Present thoughts.
I think the most important thing is to remember, and we've kind of proven this in just Tutton the way we have about Orphan 55 just now, no episode is without its merits. There is not no episode of Doctor Who exists that has nothing good to it. And even if that was objectively the case, subjectively, someone would find good in it. Doesn't matter. So we're not here to ruin your fun with an episode, and if we've ruined your opinion of an episode, I really do apologise. That's not what we're trying to do. This was to defend for the most part. But it's interesting to see. As I said, I think a lot of it is review bombing that's put some of these episodes where they are. Mainly because, as you've said, I think 9 of them were Jodie episodes, which is just
it's
so
insane.
Unfortunate.
Absolutely
I can pick
crazy.
episodes from all different eras that could belong there. It's just...
Well, just missing out was Fear Her and Sleep No More, and I think that those probably should be in here to give it a somewhat more balanced opinion. I mean, I guess we'll never really know because people review bomb, and review bombing is a much more popular thing than it ever was in 2006.
You could say the internet trolls have been training their own acolytes to review bomb with them.
And there it is. Troy, should we have a little boogie to end this episode?
Crispy, it is 11:15 p.m. I'm not boogieing.
I'm boogieing.
All right, come on. Leave it to you.
Take us home.
Come on. Oh, he's got the moves. He thinks he's Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. Go on, give us a bit of Bully Maguire. Give us a bit of Bully Maguire. Come on. Yes! Oh, that's my guy.
Wow.
That's my guy.
Yeah, we needed that. That's a good way to start your day or end your day, my friends.
Well said. Well said.
That's
Although
the
it's not ending either of our days. I'm just going to go play more Baldur's Gate now.
Oh, that's fair enough. I'm going to go to work.
All right, see you all next week for another episode of Who's There, Doc 2 podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Where we'll be finding out the result of that poll, Space Babies versus The Legend of the Sea Devils. Crispy, can you text me real quick and send me that as a message so I don't forget to put that as a poll? Because I feel like I'm going to forget otherwise. But thank you very much for watching and listening to this episode. We will see you all next Tuesday, as always, with the only show for Doctor Who where we accept your calls from everywhere in time and space. We need to say that at the end. It sounds cool. We should do that. It's like Saturday Night Takeaway, because I still miss it, where they're like the only show on telly that says don't just watch the adverts, win them. We're the only show on YouTube that says we take your calls from everywhere in time and space. There you go.
That
was a really long-winded outro. Until then, it's goodbye from Crispy.
See you later.
And it's goodbye from me. We'll see you all next time. Alon Z, baby.
Alon Z, Space Babies.
Please stop.